Wow! 2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Walk the ball. Left Taylor.
Well. Late stream on a Friday night. Welcome in everybody to DodgerHeads presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Scott Geirman, senior staff writer, Dodger Blue. I'm here with my good buddy Blake. It's been a long time. How we feeling, man? Big breaking news right now.
I'm feeling better health-wise, still not 100%, so we're gonna try and push through this one, but had to be on here because there's some exciting baseball news.
Yeah, I'll let you break it, man. Like this is it. Like chat, good to have you. It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, we know. Yeah, Mike, this has got to be our latest live show that we've ever kickstarted off here, but break it down, Blake.
Yeah, so the Chiba Lotte Marines, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Forgive me if I'm wrong there. Announced they are posting Roki Sasaki to Major League Baseball, so teams will have a chance to sign him, and he'll be in Major League Baseball next year instead of the NPB. So exciting stuff. It's been a long time coming. There's some speculation that he could be posted last year, but they ended up agreeing on a 1-year deal, and now it's happening this year. We'll get into the Dodger aspect of it, but pretty much every team is going to want him. He's a 23-year-old ace. He's been described as a phenom quite often. Like it's an exciting development here.
Yeah, so we're getting correct. The Chiba Lotte Marines posted Roki Sasaki. For right now, Blake, your initial thoughts with this and potential impacts, because he has the ability now, once this process is complete, to choose his path, choose his team the same exact way that Shohei Ohtani did when he signed prior to signing with the Angels. Initial thoughts with this. What's running through your mind with Roki Sasaki?
I mean, I feel like it's pretty much a guarantee he's going to be a Dodger. So I don't want to get hopes too high because other things can come out and things can change. But the Dodgers have targeted him for a very long time. There's an expectation around the industry that the Dodgers are going to end up with him. I don't think Sasaki would have come over already if it was about the money. But the Dodgers do have the most money they can offer him because they have the highest international bonus pool amount left at $2.5 million. So no one can offer him more.
Who's right behind them? So I think I've got the list here. I'm sure you have it as well. From what the numbers that I have, the Dodgers have $2.5 million. Right behind them is the Baltimore Orioles, a little over 2.1. I would say 2.14. And then right behind that, you can mix it up with, the Yankees and then the San Francisco Giants. But right at the top, the Dodgers can offer, and they've positioned themselves. And not many people keep tabs on the Dodgers shuffling international bonus pool money, but the Dodgers have been active on that front in preparation. Andrew Friedman and the rest of the front office there, they've been working on this. They've been keeping tabs on Roki Sasaki for quite some time. How have the Dodgers prepared for this moment? And was it surprising for you?
No, they've definitely stayed out of the international signings for this signing period to save money in the hopes that Sasaki would be posted. They kind of had an expectation that he would be posted this year, which is why they were pretty quiet with international free agents up to this point. They've definitely made it a priority to save money because they're going to do everything they can to get him. It's been their goal for quite a while now. Friedman has been in Japan scouting him pretty often, including during the Dodgers postseason run. He was asked about that in a press conference, and he kind of shot it down. He was asked about the Dodgers saving their international money. He shot that down, but it's a pretty much open secret that the Dodgers are going to do everything they can to get Sasaki, and that's why they have saved their money and haven't spent it on anyone else.
I see people in there, every single penny that the Dodgers have, this signing period ends December 15th. So leading up to this, we chatted on the live shows with Matt last night. And for a lot of it, we were saying, financially, it doesn't make sense for Roki Sasaki to be posted prior to his eligibility as before coming over, so he could sign that max deal, just like Yoshinobu Yamamoto did. What would the motivations be for him to do this? Because from a financial standpoint, it doesn't make much sense. from a Dodgers standpoint, this is the best news possible. I believe, does it have to do with competitiveness? Does he just want to play in the major leagues? He probably 100% feels he's ready. He's been competing against players much older than him on the biggest stage in the WBC as well with, Team Japan. What could the motivations be here?
Yeah, it seems like he's really just ready to want to come play in Major League Baseball, compete at the highest level. It's definitely not about the money. That's why even though the Dodgers do have the highest amount they can offer him, might end up being somewhat insignificant there. Like, it's a nice offer to say we're making you the highest bid, but at the end of the day, it's going to be his decision of where he wants to play. And that does also bode well for the Dodgers, I think. There's been some talk that he might want to be on a smaller market, but it's pretty much everyone feels he's going to be a Dodger for reasons like playing with Ohtani and Yamamoto is be very enticing. You get the highest offer when you're already limiting how much money you're going to be able to get. It's a pitching factory. They've become Japan's team essentially. Like, if you want to play on the biggest market for Japan, you're going to the Dodgers right now. So, like, there's a few reasons there, but it seems like it's really driven by him wanting to come make an impact in Major League Baseball and prove to himself that he can pitch at this level, the highest level, compete with the best in the world, and do it all for himself. It seems very much like a personal goal more than financial goal or anything else like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if he was to wait 2 more years where he would hit 6 years of team service time or 25 years old, he would be posted on the normal free agent market and get $300 million plus dollars, and he's coming over for a $2.5 million signing bonus or less. It's not really about the money for him. It's about coming over to play in Major League Baseball.
And I think that, it falls right in line, with what we've been talking about with the Dodgers in a 6-man rotation. And I think the news that, Brandon Gomes, they've talked about this a lot, that the Dodgers going into 2025, that's something that they're going to be, pretty much setting in stone, correct?
Yeah, they are.
And how big is that for Roki Sasaki? Like, if he potentially, joins the Dodgers rotation, like that transition, they're already prepared for this, correct? Like, going into that, with that, how impactful? Walk me through that.
Yeah, I think it's helpful because, like we saw with Yamamoto, Japanese pitchers, when they come over, they're used to pitching once per week. At major leagues, it's more every 5th day. The Dodgers have kind of pushed that back to every 5th day or 6th day, I mean, now. So it's definitely going to be beneficial for him. I think a lot of teams are doing more of the every 6th day now instead. So I'm not sure how significant it's going to be for any other team. Like the Padres, who are probably going to be up there with the favorites also, are going to say like, hey, we'll do the 6-man rotation if you want to join us. Yeah. Teams made, like, they were willing to get creative to sign Ohtani when a similar situation came, when he was posted for, I think he ended up signing with the Angels for around $6 million. And that was the max they could give him. But every team was willing to do whatever Ohtani wanted to try and sign him. And I think you're going to see similar with Sasaki. But the Dodgers are definitely set up in a position where it's going to bode well for them if they want to sign him.
So Roki just turned 23. And in the 2024 season, playing against, players that are around 6 years older than him, right? So essentially, like, this is a big time prospect. Like, we can just call it that. He has got incredible stuff here. He's a polished guy. He took some steps back. I know there are some injury concerns this past year, but it could have been, workload. It could have been, anticipation for this exact moment. But in 111 innings, we're talking 18 games, 2.35 ERA, right? Like, this is a guy with a devastating splitter, a very unique splitter. With, in regards to Sasaki's game, Blake, what type of pitcher should Dodger fans, and people ready to see Sasaki in Major League Baseball, what should they be expecting from him?
I would say he's probably a top 25 pitcher already in the league. He's that talented. I think there's some raw ability there. Like, he has to tone it in and get like fully on track at the major league level. There's going to be the adjustment with the ball and commanding it and all that. But yeah, the talent there is just unbelievable. I know he took a step back this year, like stuff wise with his velocity and spin rates and stuff, but still elite, off the charts. Like, this is a top of the rotation guy you're getting at 23 years old. And that's why the Dodgers have coveted him for so long. That's why every team is going to be in on him, making their pitch to do whatever they can to get him. Like, it's a pitcher that doesn't come around all that often. You're thinking a high 90s to 100-mile-per-hour fastball with elite breaking stuff and solid command. Like, he is the all-around package that you want in a pitcher.
Yeah. And so we could just toss this up here for people tuning in again to the 1600. We appreciate you joining in this late live session on this Friday. The Dodgers were favored to sign Roki Sasaki. And that is just like Blake said, it's not a secret. This is something that Andrew Friedman and his front office have been working diligently on for quite some time here. All the way through the regular season. Andrew Friedman was scouting Roki Sasaki in person. So this is something that they've been working on. Blake, with what Roki Sasaki can do, his ceiling, and kind of how I would say they've managed him. They've managed his workload. He's done this, posting and foregoing such a great financial contract that he could have had if he just stuck it out, for that eligibility. What are the Dodgers gaining here? Putting himself right into the front end of the rotation. How beneficial is this for the Dodgers to not have to worry about, if he signs, this money can be allocated elsewhere because now you're getting a front end guy for such a cheap contract here.
Yeah, so it's kind of like what they're doing with Shohei Ohtani, where you're getting an elite player for $2 million a year, and then that allowed them to go get Teoscar, Glasnow, Yamamoto, etc. Now we're talking about the Dodgers need another front-end pitcher. If you can get one who's going to be on the league minimum this year with a minor league contract, essentially major league minimum, with the $2 million signing bonus that's not going to affect their actual payroll. Now you just, instead of having to go sign Corbin Burns for $30 million, Max Fried for $25+ million, etc., you're getting a pitcher at $750,000 essentially. That's going to be on your payroll there, plugging him into the top end of your rotation.
Yep.
And then now maybe you say like, hey, we have all this money. Let's go get Juan Soto. We have all this money. Let's re-sign Teoscar and get Willy Adames. Like, I don't think they're doing all those. I'm saying like Soto or Adames and Teoscar type thing, but just to clarify there. But it gives them a lot of financial flexibility to go do whatever else they want because you don't have to allocate all that money to one pitcher. And you could even still say, like, we're going to sign Sasaki and we're going to sign Max Fried and just kind of build a super rotation. Like, nothing is really out of the realm of possibilities for them with the financial flexibility they have, especially adding on, if you do go get Sasaki, that fills a huge need for pennies, essentially. And you can just do whatever you want after that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a couple super chats here. GT, thanks for tuning in again. Everybody tuning in. Thank you. He says, only team that worries me to sign Roki, I would say, is the Padres. They don't have any money left. Can they still pick him up? Can he still pick the Padres?
So if you have no money left, I don't know what the exact number the Padres have is, but if it's 0 or around that range, the max you can go for an international free agent is $10,000. So they could offer him $10,000 and say, like, come play for us. And since he's already passing up all the money coming over now instead of in 2 years, I don't think that's like completely off the table that he ends up doing that. But it's also pretty tempting when you are passing up all that money and then you have an offer for $10,000 and one for $2.5 million in a similar area, similar quality teams. They both have some Japanese stars on them. Like, I don't think the money's the main factor in this at all. I think it's going to be a secondary thing, but you still got to consider like $2.5 million is a lot more than $10,000.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it plays into it. It's a contract that for the standards and the amount that he can sign for within the limit, I would say getting the most you can from that end while being able to play with the Dodgers is, just a double plus. So this leads me right into the next one here. Not just Beagle. He says, with the Dodgers history with starting pitching, are you nervous? Are you nervous at all? I'm not thinking about that at all. Like, that's just not something that's even entering my mind.
I mean, Yamamoto worked out pretty well. I would say Glasnow was working out until the injury, which I guess that was the downside we all knew at the time. So you can kind of flip a coin on how that one works. He's still got 5 years left on his contract or whatever it is for. Like, Sasaki is a very elite talent. He's going to be essentially free for the team. Like, $2.5 million is less than they're going to pay some random reliever on the free agent market. even if he doesn't work out, like you're not putting in 300 million to him like you did with Yamamoto. It's a much higher reward for a much lower risk here, where like he might break down and get injured. He's had some injury problems, but it's the kind of risk you're willing to take when you're paying him 2.5 million max.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Roki Sasaki pitched, like we said, on the biggest stage here, you know, in the WBC. If you were fortunate enough to tune into it, it was some of the most exciting baseball you are going to see. As I scramble to pull up his stuff here, I know he only pitched 7 2/3 innings, but you know, 3.52 ERA, and we're talking about he was a kid. Like this is a young prospect with all the potential in the world, playing against some of the game's best, performing, and he's got a hell of an arsenal, and it's not something to just overlook. Roki Sasaki is every bit of intriguing, and has a ceiling of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Like this is as talented of an arm, and the Dodgers have the potential to sign someone like that for pennies to the dollar, and for what it is. So if he wants to come over, play against the best. He's betting on himself here, and it's a big bet. It's definitely a big bet, and just like you said, things could go wrong for him. But this is someone who wants to play in Major League Baseball, and hats off to him. So I hope the Dodgers go ahead and go sign this. Lieutenant Beaches, do the Dodgers have the most money to offer, and when is the deadline to sign him? So go ahead. I know you have the rules here and posting rules.
They do have the most money to sign him. They have the largest international bonus pool amount, the 2.5 million we've talked about. The deadline to sign him would be 30 days after he's officially posted. They have to go through some paperwork, so I'm guessing we won't actually see it official for a day or two. And then from that point, the 30-day window opens up, and they have to sign him by that 30-day deadline. So during that time, him and his agent, they're going to meet with every team. They're going to discuss things, see where he feels most comfortable at, and then he'll end up picking his team. And I think we're going to see a lot of the market waiting on him unless they feel like they don't have a chance to get him. We're probably going to see it slow down with like Burns and Fried and Blake Snell. Like they're probably going to wait on this one because all the teams are going to be hesitant to give out a big contract if they have a chance to get Sasaki.
Yeah, and I'll just do a quick correction there. I know that I just looked it up. It's a 45-day window, and I see people in chat. Yeah, Shota, thank you for putting that in there. It's NPB is 45 days, KBO is 30 days, so he will have a 45-day window to sign with the major league team here. That's why the news, because I saw Jake. Jake, shout out to you, man. Thanks for tuning in, brother. That because the signing period ends December 15th. This is just such big news because then that bonus pool money, it resets. When that next period kicks in, then it opens up to every team. That stuff resets and goes ahead. And the money they have now goes away. So this is something I'm sure Sasaki pushed to have done. I'm sure this is something he's been banging the table for, wanting to make happen here. I'll get through these super chats real quick. I got one more, but I want to talk about implications for the Dodgers offseason plans now. Mike says, you guys got to buy a Team Japan WBC hat now. Blake will. Blake for sure will.
I would.
He would for sure. All right. So lay it out for me. So I know you tuned into the show last night with Matt and myself. With the Dodgers having a couple needs here in the outfield, being able to get a starting pitcher for this contract, under team control for a good number of years, where you can evaluate him, develop him, and feel comfortable with him. With that, let's just hypothetically say he signs with the Dodgers. Give me the rest of your plans here.
Well, that's where it can get fun. That's where you have 10 different routes you can go on how to assemble a team. My first plan is, and I know it's highly debated among fans right now. No, it's Juan Soto. I am bringing up Juan Soto. You have a chance to add a generational talent.
Let's do it, baby.
He is going into the Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is going to wear the hat of whatever team signs him this offseason. You can get him on this team right now and have a lineup of Ohtani, Soto, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman as your top four. That is insane to think about. Like, we're talking about best lineup in baseball history right there type stuff. If you can do that, you go get it. And I know everyone talks about like the defense and he's a DH and all that. Like, who cares? It's Juan Soto.
cares?
You let him go, put up a 200 weighted runs created plus every year. Like, they didn't have a good defensive outfield last year for most of the year. Teoscar Hernandez is worse defensively than Juan Soto is. Like, this is a generational player that you go get. And if you're that concerned about the defense, maybe Ohtani ends up becoming an outfielder in the future when he's not pitching, because he's probably not going to be a two-way player for 10 years of his contract. I don't think anyone's expecting that. Maybe Juan Soto ends up moving to first base like Bryce Harper did. Like, there's ways around it. You worry about that stuff in the future. Right now, you go for the dream lineup, the superstar team, like that every single pitcher in baseball would fear, and you try and get that done. You're paying Ohtani $2 million. You'd be paying Sasaki pennies. It gives you so much money to go do whatever you want.
Freeman's money off the books in a couple years. Like, the opportunities are there.
It's like what we talked about last year when Ohtani and Yamamoto were both free agents. I kept making the case, like, these are players who never come around at their ages and talent levels on the free agent market. So you have to go do everything you can to get them. Juan Soto is that same type of player. We're not going to see another player like him on the free agent market for another 20, 30, 40 years. Like, they just don't come around. The closest is probably Alex Rodriguez back in the day. And or Albert Pujols you brought up, but he's younger than Pujols when he was a free agent. So it's just the type of move that if you can make it, you have to do everything you can to make it happen. Now,
it goes along the lines of like players like, Mike Trout, Ken Griffey Jr., Albert Pujols, like Andrew Jones, right? Before like signing extensions, before hitting the free agent market. These guys don't hit the free agent market. You're the Dodgers. You've got to call. I laid out my plan last night. I forgot who in chat. It made them flip out. Probably punched their computer screen 100 times hearing me do it. But it's like, that's plan zero. You've got to call, see what's there. Craig, I saw you brought up in chat, like Juan Soto wants East or prefers East Coast or wants East Coast. He wants the most money. Like, he's going to go to the best situation, but he wants the most money. That's just flat out how it is. So, how much can we put into the East Coast, West Coast thing? He wants the most money. Who cares about his defense? This is a type of bat that you just have to, if you can do it, if the conversation is there, if there are some legs to the contract conversation, you do it. That's what happens. You see what happened after he talks to, the Yankees, Steve Cohen with the Mets. And I'm sure this is something that they're currently mulling over. Now you remedy starting pitching with Sasaki, if that's the process, if that's what's going to happen, if that's the roadmap. People saying too much money. It's not our money, but we're talking about a chunk of the payroll to a player who, just like Blake said, these players don't hit free agency. They just don't. Teams do whatever they can, especially his age. Like, if you're talking about signing prime Albert Pujols in his age 25 here to a contract for, 12, 15 years, getting that type of production, that first, 8 years of the contract is going to look incredible. You deal with everything else.
And they have money coming off. Like, so how you can look at this is, in the next year, Chris Taylor is going to be off the books. In the next, I think it's 3 years, Freddie Freeman's going to be off the books. At that same time, when Freeman comes off the books, then you have to start paying Sasaki actual arbitration money. So that kind of replaces there. Like, they have pathways to make this work where it works out financially, where it's not going to be too much money that hampers the team. They're losing Bueller's contract. Kershaw's going to be off the books in probably a year or two. Like, there's money coming off to make it work. Teoscar probably wouldn't be back with the team, so his money, they have a lot of money coming up and freeing up that they can kind of do whatever they want here. And maybe you do overpay for the team for a year or two. Maybe you do run a $350 million payroll for the next year or two. You win a World Series, I don't think they care at all at that point. Like, and then after that, it starts to come back down and you're going to be in a good spot. The money isn't something you have to worry about. The real debate is it Juan Soto the best option, or is it go sign Adames, Teoscar, and 2 relievers or something like that? Which,
and that's the next thing. Go ahead. Yeah, that's the next part of the whole entire conversation. Like, that's why I said for me, it's like plan zero. You got to do it. And then after that, you get into the plan that seems a little bit more likely, right? That's when you get into re-signing Teoscar Hernandez, going out, re-signing your bullpen, checking in with Walker Buehler. That's someone it's on my priority list. It's in bold lettering. Do what you can to get Walker Buehler back in house. I'm furiously intrigued with the next few years of his career, just because of what we saw there. And Willy Adames, getting Willy Adames in there, pushes Tommy Edman to center field and remedies another outfield spot that you don't have to worry about, because without Teoscar Hernandez, you've got one outfielder. That's it. That I feel confident in. That's all. Because Tommy Edman right now slots into your everyday shortstop. Mookie Betts is going to second base. Andy Paz is the only one. I don't want to hear James Outman's name. Nope, not on this show. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So you have to do what you can. Like, if they can remedy the shortstop position with Willy Adames, you go ahead and do it. Teoscar Hernandez, it should be a no-brainer, right? So aside from Juan Soto, I see people bring it up. You can sign multiple players for that. Chill out, Hep. You're saying Willy Adames sucks? Like, that's just an out-of-pocket type of statement. Like, Blake, chat Willy Adames. Talk him up for me.
I mean, he's a very good defender. He's going to hit like 25 to 30 homers for you. He's got the speed to steal 20 plus bases. Not a high average guy. He's going to be kind of similar to Max Muncy, but like, if you're taking that out of the shortstop position, I think you're all going to be very happy with that. Good glove, high power, high speed, and a fantastic clubhouse guy. The Brewers never wanted to trade him, even when they usually trade guys with 1 year left, because he was so valuable to their clubhouse.
Yep.
And the Dodgers do tend to value those kind of players. So I think there's real interest in Adames. They definitely need to add at least a center fielder or a shortstop. They have the versatility with Edman to put either one in pretty easily. And there's not really any center fielders that are great options out there on the free agent market. So I think Adames is going to be pretty high on their target list.
Chad, I can go through the other shortstops that are signed to contract, like long-term contracts. Like, I can do that. I can make you even more mad. Would you have preferred the Dodgers to sign Trey Turner, Javi Baez, Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson to 7 years, $177 million? I don't think so. I don't think any of those. Trey Turner is one of the worst postseason hitters ever. Dodgers fans don't want Carlos Correa. Like, you have to remedy the shortstop position. You can't keep kicking the can. You can't keep doing that. This is something they've been trying to, like a spot they've been trying to remedy. Blake, cover your ears. Since Corey Seager left. That's it. That's just how it is. And nobody wanted Trey Turner back after that. It was like everybody knew the speed wasn't, like, speed power guys aren't going to, like, that's not going to age well. That contract, 11 years, $300 million for him? No. Give me Willy Adames. Just had the best power year, home run power year of his career. Glove guy, clubhouse guy, good friends with Mookie Betts. Bring Teoscar Hernandez back. Profit. We go from there. Cool with that?
Good offseason. Yeah, I mean, there's other things they could do. There's always a surprising move that they're going to make that we're not expecting. I don't think any of us were really talking about Glasnow until that happened last year. So they like to come out of like nowhere and make these deals no one was expecting. But they're in a very good spot where they need a corner outfielder and a starting pitcher. But other than that, they can kind of do anything they want this offseason and make it work. And that's going to be very beneficial for them when they're trying to upgrade their roster and bring in additional pieces. You have versatility to say, yeah, sure, we can go get a shortstop, or we can get a center fielder, or we could bring in a second baseman and move Mookie to shortstop, which probably isn't going to happen, but it's something they could do if they wanted to, if they found the perfect match at second. Like, they just have a lot of different options that they can go with, and it's a really good spot to be in.
Also, does this just, like, I see people bringing up Garrett Crochet. Let's chat Garrett Crochet. Now with Roki Sasaki being, to this point, potentially signing with the Dodgers don't have to go overpay with the Chicago White Sox, who always want to play hardball when it comes to trades. Big time. That's a big time get if they're able to do that. Would you still pursue a trade like that just with Garrett Crochet? Or is this something now you can start to pivot elsewhere?
I would still be involved in listening, and if you line up on the right deal, I'd pull the trigger, but I wouldn't try and force anything. Mm-hmm. It's still dependent on getting Sasaki, of course, but I think the benefit for getting Crochet is you're getting another elite pitcher for cheap, and that gives you more possibilities to go do other things. Like, if they like Gavin Lux and say Dalton Rushing and some other player in a deal, and the Dodgers are willing to do something like that, now you could go pay 2 other position players and upgrade at shortstop or center field and a corner outfield spot, plug in Andy Pajes to another corner spot, and like that team looks really, really good on paper there.
Yeah.
We always know we have to see how it plays out, but that's a team that you're setting up yourself incredibly well to repeat as World Series champions. And that's the kind of stuff you have to do. You can't get complacent after winning a World Series. We saw the Rangers do that. There's reasons teams don't win back-to-back very often. It hasn't been done in 2 decades basically now. So it's hard to do, but if you can put a team like that on the field, you have a pretty good shot at doing it.
Yes. And I'm going to just keep hinging on what, Matt Moreno, our executive editor, said like a week ago to me. And it's, how do the Dodgers get better here? That's how I'm approaching free agency. That's how I'm approaching this offseason period. It's how do they get better, during this time? I don't want to see them make status quo moves here with Mookie Betts moving to second base. Now you've got to worry about finding some outfielders here. I need them. I like the fact that if Willy Adames joins the Dodgers, Tommy Edman's freed up. You can move, some spots around here. Tommy Edman can slot in, spell some guys everywhere, but ultimately play center field. I think he plays a great center field, hyper athletic guy. I think that's just the best move for the team. Bring Teoscar Hernandez back. And now with Roki Sasaki, cheap pitching, you're getting some arms in here. You can pivot. You can go somewhere else. Now you can put your money back into the positions where I feel it gives you a little bit more rock solid view of the future and a little more versatility for your current roster here. Right?
Yeah.
Chat, what do you feel? What do you feel about this? Tell us, with the news and the stuff we just laid out, what would your next pivot be? Are you kind of in line with what we're cooking with? If not, Blake, let's get some questions here, by the way, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We got 2,700 here. Late stream.
11:30 on a Friday night. Kind of threw this together last minute.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll get some super chats. Best way to get your stuff across is super chat. We'll stop what we're doing. But again, all caps question followed up after that. We will get to it. We'll get to a couple. We're going to get back to regularly scheduled programming and let you guys all get a good night's sleep. Hopefully Andrew Friedman's working the phones right now.
Real quick, let's throw this one up. We are not forgetting about Tommy Edman. We have mentioned he could play center field or shortstop, which gives them the option to go with either. Like if they want to leave him at shortstop, then you get a center fielder. If you want to get a shortstop, then you move him to center field. We both see Tommy Edman as a big part of the team's future and think they're going to sign him to an extension at some point.
Yeah. Crazy comments tonight. People are tripping, man. Washed, dating back to 2021, Willy Adames is right in line with Corey Seager as far as power numbers from a shortstop. So you guys can mince that however you want, but tell me he's trash, doesn't move the meter for me. It's not going to work. All right. You got some picked for me? Thoughts on Kikuchi? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Chris, I was in a stream. I think Jake, if you're still here, he held a space with some Astros people, and I asked some questions about Kikuchi, and just a really intriguing player, really an intriguing arm. Falls on the lines of someone you sign for a couple years, and that's a contract that I feel would age pretty well here. I like him. That's someone who had a terrific second half. He's big time stuff. Yeah, what's up, Jake? Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Kikuchi?
He's intriguing, but he also is on the older side. I think he'll be 34 this year, which kind of a concern when you're talking about giving out a multi-year deal to a pitcher. I would say the plus side is he has been pretty durable. The last 2 years, he's thrown more than 167 innings, and that is something the Dodgers need. So if you're talking about him as a secondary piece to Sasaki, I'm all for it. If you're talking about him as your main guy, kind of on the fence there, no, but he is a solid piece.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here, let's see. Mike, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining this one. He says, should the Dodgers trade for an outfielder? And I saw you bringing up a trade with the White Sox, with Luis Robert. It's just that's a conversation. That's like a hardball type of conversation. It's a name that the White Sox didn't really want to talk at the trade deadline, essentially. Like, how much left do we know about Luis Robert? What other, there's names out there. There's corner outfielder guys out there. Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill's on the free agent market here. Like, talk about him. Like,
we wanted him last year.
Yeah, we talked about him last year prior to Teoscar Hernandez. But about on the trade market, anybody else that you see aside from like working a deal with the White Sox, or is that an avenue you'd go, or would you just sign, go ahead and just say, we're just going to pony up some money here?
I mean, I would just pony up the money. I'm not sure of any trade guys like off the top of my head that make a ton of sense for the team. I haven't got too deep into any of that yet. Still getting over the World Series there. I would just give out the money. Like, if you're going to get an outfielder, just sign Juan Soto. If you miss out on Soto, go get Teoscar back. Plug in Tommy Edman to center field and use Pajes and probably rushing as your other two guys. Like, you're going to be fine like that.
Beautiful. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Like, that's a mix that I could get behind here. Tommy Edman, Dalton Rushing, Andy Pajes, Teoscar Hernandez. Lock me in. I could call it an offseason right there, and then you pivot to the bullpen. Mike, thanks for that one, man. I appreciate you, dude. Scooter, bad.
We have a super chat.
A lot of people are convinced that Roki's going to the Padres. How probable do you find that? I don't know. Padres fans are probably convinced that Roki's going to the Padres because of Yu Darvish. A lot of the chatter is that, Roki has his eyes set on the Dodgers. And that's been a lot of where the favorite stuff with the Los Angeles Dodgers has come from. Blake, do you think there's a lot, like anything to this or any legs to Roki Sasaki and being convinced he's going to the Padres?
I don't think he's going to the Padres. I would put it as like them a top 5 team in the mix for him, but I think the Dodgers are the clear favorite.
Yeah. Man, Angela saying William Smith. You just love Will Smith. Thank you so much for this one. Like, I'm going to take this as you love yourself some Will Smith and you love us some Dodger heads. Appreciate you, Blake. Any love for Angela here?
Yeah, Will Smith, we love him. Thank you for joining here and giving us the very generous super chat here. If you want us to talk anything more about him, like, we will get into that, but we both think pretty highly of Will Smith, and we're hoping he can get back on track and find his offensive rhythm again.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. We all do. Long-term commitment. Like, talented hitters like that just don't fall off a cliff. Like, something's been going on. Hopefully they figure it out. And he gets back to being an offensive force here. You can answer this one. Do you think Roki signs before January? Has to.
I think so. Well, what's the 45 days? I mean, that would be middle of January, I think, right? So, yeah, I'd say yeah.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Let's see. Jake just put something up here. I just want to toss it in here. Back to the Padres thing. Padres have zero money for him. I know money isn't a priority, but like we said, $20K versus $2.5 million, all his sponsorships playing for LA. And he gets to move into that 6-man rotation. I think there's a ton of value to that. I think that just makes LA just that much more of an attractive destination for him. You kind of agree with that? Like, that's just that transition, and you don't have to do much maneuvering around. Like, the Dodgers would already had planned to be set up for it. Do you think they saw this coming? Do you think the Dodgers had a little bit of knowledge here, or a little inkling that Roki was going to be posted, so they've been kind of prepping for this?
Yeah, that's why they didn't spend their money. There was the hope he would be posted last year, so I think after that didn't happen, they probably felt like it was gonna happen this year. And also, Jeff just shared us an article saying that there's a person who's connecting Sasaki and the Dodgers due to their being a major advertising agency, and the Dodgers are like kind of saying, you come over here and you're good, you're going to get all these advertising deals and everything, and you're going to make a lot of money off the field as well. So yeah, we can't pay you the $30 million a year right now, but you're going to make a ton in advertising. Then you'll go into arbitration in a few years, start making more money from us. So I think they are very well prepared with the very good pitch to him on how they're going to be able to get him money, how he'll make money, how they're going to fit him into their system and help him succeed at the major league level, then that is why most people feel like it's a lock he's going to the Dodgers.
We're cooking. We're absolutely cooking, Blake. This is what a few weeks. Dodgers win a ring.
Here,
Roki gets
here's
posted.
an interesting sentence here. During the offseason of his first year as a professional, Sasaki was greatly influenced by Yoshinobu Yamamoto. In his second year's training camp, he started practicing pitching with a pitching form that was almost exactly like Yoshinobu's, shocking everyone around him. So
Man.
I know all the talk is about Darvish, but this is a interesting story here.
Yeah. Boy. All right. Cortez put this one. He just commented this here. How realistic are these signing? Walker Buehler, probably Blake Trinan, Kike Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez, Roki Sasaki, and Willy Adames. If so, is that a successful offseason?
I mean, they're all realistic. I think all of them together, I think is still pretty realistic. And I would call that a pretty successful offseason. I think you probably would too.
That's like I would say it's an A+. That's an A+ offseason. I'm
going to be a little more critical of that offseason because it doesn't have Juan Soto, but
yes, okay, Blake. Yeah, okay. All right. Yes, we're on the same page there. We know. Of the names there, who's the name there that you could see leaving? Like, of the ones, like, wouldn't be the most realistic?
I would say Walker Buehler.
Thank you. I was just going to say the same thing, just because of the contract projections that have been thrown around. Some team,
especially if you're getting Sasaki. Especially if you're getting Sasaki.
For sure.
I think if you miss out on Soto, I think Teoscar is a lock to come back. I think Kike is a lock to come back no matter what. I think Blake Trinan is about as close to a lock as you can be without being a full lock. So yeah. I think another team might be willing to pay Buehler more than what the Dodgers are willing to pay with the pitching that they already have in place. I think the Dodgers like Buehler a lot and they'd like to keep him, but just out of those names, I think he would be the most likely to leave.
Yeah. And as much like, not were you, just for the record, you were surprised that they didn't slap him with the qualifying offer?
I was surprised, but Jeff did the interview today with Andy McCullough talking about it, and it seemed like it was more about like the respect factor. Like they didn't do it with Kershaw before. They didn't want him to like restrict his market and kind of force him into taking a 1-year, $20 million deal. So I think
this is his shot.
Yeah. If he didn't come back and perform well in the playoffs, like he wouldn't have been set up for the qualifying offer. It wouldn't have even been a discussion, but I definitely think his performance in the playoffs kind of pushed them into saying like, we respect what you've done for this team for the last 6 years. We're not going to limit your market or put you in a tough spot going forward. Like, we respect it. Thank you for everything you've done. If you want to come back, let's have discussions, but feel free to go look around elsewhere.
I'm fully on board with that. Walker Buehler has done everything he can to get back on the field. In October, he turned a lot of heads. Like he to his own admission, said he thought he was going to be released. Throws the final pitch of a World Series team. This is his shot to get paid. This is his absolute shot to get paid. I'm sure another team's going to offer a contract. He'll probably, go to the Dodgers and say, this is what I've been presented. Can you match it? Can you come close to it? If not, then that's the next step, right? Like I think we're both kind of on that similar line. But aside from that, Cortez, Blake Trinan, Kike Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez, Roki Sasaki, and Willy Adames, those are all very much in play. And I think there are moves that there's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of smoke. And everything on that list I could see. It's just a matter of what's Walker Buehler, what is his market going to be? Are the Boston Red Sox as aggressive as some reports have been about Teoscar Hernandez? They tried to sign him last offseason. It came down to the Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox offered him, I believe it was a second year, and Teoscar Hernandez chose the Dodgers. Bet on himself. He's going to earn a payday. So good for him. Good for him here. All right. Got a couple super chats here.
Yeah.
Yep.
We did.
Yeah, we did. 300. Where do you see Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin this year? I see Dustin May in the bullpen, and Tony Gonsolin's going to start.
I think they're both going to start until they can't.
Sure, that's fine.
I don't think you want to give up on May as a starter until like you absolutely have to, and I think there is a real case that you could say you absolutely have to, but before he got injured, he was kind of breaking out and looking like an ace, and I think you have to give him one more shot to get back there and see if he can stay healthy.
That's a good point. Yeah, he's got every tool to be successful, right? The only thing is it's the strikeout numbers is the biggest thing. Like once he transitions to the bullpen, hopefully he finds a little bit more swing and miss. Otherwise, it's like a bruised Dark Gratterall situation here, and maybe he can give him some length. If he's a 1 inning guy, just air it out and do that, and that's not a bad problem to have. But Tony Gonsolin, on that note, a hype level for him. What's your expectation for Tony Gonsolin here, and what essentially will be a rehab year?
A back end depth starter, maybe goes in the bullpen a little bit and swingman type thing. Maybe they end up trading him to another team if they end up going the adding multiple starting pitcher route. I think they have some options that they can deal with and figure it out. I don't think they're locked into any one thing with him.
Yeah, no doubt. Don't care 187 says Blake, just say no to Juan Soto and Scott Boras.
No.
Not going to listen to that at all, huh?
If you can get Juan Soto, you go get Juan Soto. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he stays in New York, but until he's actually signing somewhere else, I'm not giving up the dream.
I respect that. Chat won't, but I do. I got you. Fiery Taco says, finally get to watch a live stream in a while, maybe more in the future. I don't know about this late. I got a stern look from my better half.
When the Dodgers announced the Juan Soto signing at 11:48 on a Wednesday night, we'll be on here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me see if we got one more here. Jacob Kelly says, what's your ideal 6-man rotation for next season? You have that off the top of your dome?
No, but we can get through it. How realistic are we being? Like,
just go. Let's say Roki Sasaki signs with the Dodgers. Go from there. So
we got Ohtani, Yamamoto, Sasaki, Glasnow. Who am I forgetting? Fried. See, like, how are we going with another free agent? Like, are we going to sign Max Fried? Are we going to get a Blake Snell?
Walker Buehler.
I mean, Kershaw is going to be back. Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin. They have options.
They'll need him.
So ideal, like, I'm going to throw Crochet in there instead of signing any of the free agents. So if we're going to ideal fix, I'm going Ohtani, Yamamoto, Sasaki, Glasnow, Crochet, and Kershaw.
Wow. All right.
6 or 7.
Either
7. Way. Okay, well, Kershaw, IL him.
Sign him whenever he feels like showing back up, and that's fine. He can do whatever he wants, just like you said, Dodger for life. And we got another big one here. Angela, you're spoiling us tonight. We appreciate this. Super chats at a night. She says, Dodgers victory. Yeah, I mean, damn right. Yep. Everything they're cooking right now, they're Andrew Friedman. Hopefully they're on the same train. How do you get better this offseason? How do you build on a World Series roster? Keep the cohesiveness. Like, keep that group together. Run it back. Do your best to keep those core players. That's why I just think it's so paramount to keep Teoscar Hernandez with the team. He was noted, like, said by name by so many other players. And I'm sure you reckon, like, you saw it firsthand too. Like, when you were on, boots on the ground for us, NLCS, World Series, how vital Teoscar Hernandez was in this clubhouse and will be, because I believe, I can't see a world that Teoscar Hernandez is not back with the Dodgers. It's not one that I want to see right now. Unless he gets blown away by the money and the Dodgers just cannot match it, won't match it. I think it's paramount for Teoscar Hernandez to be, back with the Dodgers.
You're not going to like my reply here.
No, don't go back to the Soto thing. Don't do this. Move along. Just talk about that. Not doing it. DM, chill out, bro. Like you've been doing the same stuff for 2 days. Come on, man. Like it's not the same bit with Matt like picking pot. Come on, get over it. Come on, stop.
Well,
go ahead, Blake.
Teoscar, we love him. He's loved in the clubhouse. They should absolutely bring him back. Even if they get Juan Soto, they should bring back Teoscar because he wants to be here. He's great for the team. They kind of need a righty power bat. Like, there we go. We love Teoscar.
All right. Let's see. All right. Brandon. Blake, how's the cheeseburger from Del Taco?
This is very random. Haven't talked about it or had it in quite a while, but surprisingly good for a fast food burger.
W take. Absolutely. W take. Let's see. Ollie says, what's your ideal bullpen? This is a bigger one.
Yeah. So the same thing as last year, essentially, but you're replacing Daniel Hudson with Kenley Jansen.
This is late night Blake. This is late night Blake here. But essentially,
I would like to see Kenley retire a Dodger. I know it's probably not the most popular take, but if you're bringing him in and he's willing to not be a closer in the postseason, I think he can be a good piece to help you out.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's not that many. Like, they'll need arms, but as far as what they've got, like a lot of their postseason guys became guys. Like Anthony Bonda, like Ryan Brazier had his moments. Like, sure, he had a couple pitches here and there. Daniel Hudson retired, so you don't have that, that iffy line. You're going to do it. Alex Vesia continues his incredible run as one of the best left-handed relievers in Major League Baseball. Brusdar Graterol just steps onto a World Series mound, like right into the playoffs here, and just performs. Just, terrific stuff, man. All right, chat. Outside of anything else, Blake and I are going to call it a night. We appreciate you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As Blake pulls this question, I got it right here. All right. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Thanks for joining the super late edition. Roki Sasaki going to be posted. So this is big stuff. Keep an eye out for that. We'll, keep tuned in on Dodger Heads, presented by Dodger Blue. We'll keep you up to date on everything with Roki Sasaki. Any breaking news there. As we have one more super chat to interrupt my outro. Jacob, thank you. He says, won't Boris's friction with the front office be a large roadblock to signing Soto, or is that overblown?
I think it's pretty overblown. They haven't signed Boris clients in the past because they're not usually willing to go top of the market for players, and that's what Boris is always looking for. I don't think it's like anything personal there. They've signed JD Martinez, the Boris client there. At the end of the day, it's the agent's job to get the best deal for his player and meet the player's needs. If Juan Soto says, I want to be a Dodger, there's going to be no roadblocks there. I think it's very overblown. It's just, there are some like relationships that help. It's easier to deal with the people you're always dealing with and know better. Like the Dodgers do very well with the Wasserman group, which is Yamamoto's and Sasaki's agent. And if Soto wants to be a Dodger, they're not going to let Boris get in the way, and Boris isn't going to get in the way of getting his client the best deal.
No doubt. Jorge says this real quick. Would you guys trade for Buxton or Bichette? I think he's just asking one or the other, or either of them. Buxton has just insane talent, what he can do on the field, but he's never healthy. And I don't want to pay Bo Bichette, nor do I want to trade for him. I don't want to give up prospects for that. I'm good. I don't want to deal with Bo Bichette. I'm out. Not a fan. Not a fan of the profile.
Buxton is the best player in baseball for the 30 games he plays every year.
Crazy, right? Just can't stay healthy at all. But yeah, I don't like Bo Bichette. Somebody say Willie Adames stinks. Bo Bichette. If you're putting them toe to toe, Bo Bichette stinks. Let's not do these guys.
I don't think I'm going near Bo Bichette. I would trade for Buxton if the price is right and just hope he can stay healthy. Just bubble wrap him till October. I'm fine with that.
And Bo Bichette's not on the trade block. Yeah. Shota brings it up. Thank you for this. Yeah. Blue Jays came out. That was pretty apparent. But I wouldn't touch Bo Bichette 10-foot pole. I'm good. I don't want to deal with that. Right on. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Scott Geirman, senior writer, Dodger Blue, here with Blake Williams, the man. I'm glad you're feeling better, buddy. I missed you on here. You glad to be back, or you could have hibernated for a little bit more?
I'm not fully better yet. It's still my throat is a bit sore talking, and still got the like sinus issues going on, and my ear is still kind of clogged. But we're getting through it.
Blake Williams flu game. Thoughts on that?
Ear infection game, I guess.
Ear infection game.
One. Double
all of
ear.
it.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, everybody. We appreciate you. You all enjoy the rest of your night. As always, guys, go Dodgers.